Hello everybody, my name is McKenna Alviso, and I'm presenting on opioids. What are opioids? Opioids are a class of drugs naturally found in the opium poppy plant. They are substances that act on opioid receptors in your cells to relieve pain. Opioids can either be prescription drugs such as Vicodin or Norco, or also sold as street drugs such as heroin or fentanyl. In addition to helping with pain, opioids also can make people feel relaxed, happy, and stress-free, creating a sense of being high, which ultimately results in these drugs being highly addictive. To your right is the 6 most addictive opioids, which include Schedule 1 heroin, Schedule 2 fentanyl, Schedule 2 morphine, Schedule 2 Vicodin, Schedule 2 oxycodone, and Schedule 2 methadone. What are the health effects on the body? There are long-term effects as well as short-term effects. Long-term effects include restricting your ability to breathe when taken at a higher dose, risk of respiratory infection, can act upon other diseases, drowsiness and sleepiness, constipation, depression, increased pain, and difficulty urinating. Short-term effects include feelings of euphoria, dry mouth, headache, flushing, mental fog, itching, and lethargy. What are the effects of opioids on the brain? Long-term opioid use can result in changes in the brain that harm cognition, result in fogginess, and your ability to think. Additionally, they flood the brain with dopamine, a chemical that affects the reward circuit in such a way that produces pleasure. This makes a person want to continue taking the drugs. When you use opioids, it triggers the brain to release dopamine, and over time, when there are no opioids present in the body, the brain will begin to search for it. The brain begins to rely on the presence of opioids to feel the same level of pleasure that was achieved before. This is where addiction comes into play, as people are constantly chasing that feeling of being high. Social and personal consequences. Some personal consequences include people who develop an opioid addiction may engage in dangerous behaviors to feed this addiction, such as theft. Other consequences include further mental issues such as depression and anxiety, as well as health effects on the body that can ultimately lead to death. Social consequences include families being torn apart, as well as distancing yourself from family and friends. What are some treatment options? Some treatment options for opioid addiction include medicine, counseling and behavioral therapy, medication-assisted therapy, which is a combination of medicines, counseling, and behavioral help, as well as residential or hospital treatment. What are some trends and statistics of opioids? More than 2 million Americans abuse opioids, and more than 90 Americans die from overdose every day. More than 760,000 people have died since 1999 from a drug overdose. 2 out of 3 drug overdose deaths in 2018 involved an opioid. Naloxone is a medication designed to rapidly reverse opioid overdose. The number of prescriptions for naloxone doubled from 2017 to 2018. To the right, you will see a graph demonstrating the national overdose deaths from prescription opioid pain relievers. As you can see, the trend is steadily rising. That concludes my presentation on opioids.